बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। पंजाब बार काउंसिल के थर्ड बार वोकेशनल कोर्स के आखिरी दिन के अंदर तमाम दोस्तों को खुश आमदेद। 14वां दिन है आज। एक तो इब्तिदा के अंदर कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस, आप तमाम दोस्तों ने आउटस्टैंडिंग एक्चुअली पार्टिसिपेशन की और मुझे बर्दाश्त किया। इस लिहाज से आप देखो, आप तमाम दोस्तों के साथ जब हमने बात वगैरह की थी आज तक, जो 13 दिनों के अंदर ज्यादातर जिन फील्ड्स के बारे में बात किया है वो फील्ड्स ऑफ जनरल प्रैक्टिस है कि सादे मुकदमे सिविल कोर्ट के कैसे करने हैं। बट वी हैव ऑल्सो टॉक टू यू अबाउट कंज्यूमर लॉ, वी हैव ऑल्सो टॉक टू यू अबाउट सर्टन फील्ड्स जहां पे हमारे नजदीक आपकी कमाई हो सकती है और इब्तदा के 2 साल के अंदर आपको काम वगैरह मिल सकता है। इस लिहाज से एक बहुत ज्यादा डेवलपिंग फील्ड और जहां पे आपका बेशुमार टाकरा या आपकी मुलाकात, आपके आसपास लोगों को मसले नजर आएंगे और उनके मुकदमे आप आगे लेके जा सकते हैं, वो है मेडिकल फील्ड। बीमार हर बंदा होता है, फौत हर बंदा होता है। मिस हैंडल यहाँ पे जो मेडिकल सिस्टम है बहुत ज्यादा मिस हैंडलिंग होती है, नेग्लिजेंस, मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस यहाँ पे बहुत है। उसको रेगुलेट करने के लिए रिसेंटली एक स्पेशल कवानीन और स्पेशल फोरम्स वगैरह जो बने हैं, वहां पे बेशुमार वकालत आपके लिए अवेलेबल है। उसकी अपील एडिशनल आप देखेंगे, अपीलें भी कोर्ट के अंदर डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज के लेवल के ऊपर जाती हैं, वहां पे भी आपकी कमाई हो सकती है। मुख्तलिफ फोरम्स और मुख्तलिफ इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया ऑफ मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस के लिए आज वी थॉट इट अप्रोप्रिएट to invite a very good friend, a leading practitioner इस साइड के ऊपर, a teacher, a person who contributes widely to bar council, bar vocational course में भी पहले इन्होंने लेक्चर दिया है, thinks deeply about the law as well, Mr. नौशाब अली खान एडवोकेट हाई कोर्ट, 25 साल की इनकी वकालत की स्टैंडिंग है। BNU के अंदर, यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर, बीकन हाउस यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर लॉ पढ़ाते हैं, कॉर्पोरेट लॉ एंड गवर्नेंस, और इवन जुडिशल अकेडमी के अंदर जज साहिबान को भी पढ़ाते हैं। सो हिज कंट्रीब्यूशन टूवर्ड्स द प्रोफेशन इज एक्सेप्शनल। सो वी आर लकी टू हैव नौशाब अली खान साहब विद अस। सर, ओवर टू यू प्लीज। थैंक यू सर। वेरी मच सर। ये लगा लीजिए प्लीज। थैंक यू सर। ये आपके कागजात पड़े हैं।
In the name of Almighty Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent, the most benevolent. Muhammad Ahmad Qayyum Sahab, if I use one word, one of the most articulate and prolific lawyer of his time. And let me add one thing, that he is a man who walks the talk. He is the first ever chairman of Education Committee, Punjab Bar Council, who has contributed immensely for the development of this profession. I think let's begin. Today is the last day of this ongoing bar vocational course. So let's begin while saluting his services. And let me tell you one thing very honestly. The way he's engaged in the profession, right from the court of first instance up to the Supreme Court. He's the first choice lawyer for the litigants all over the country. But I think I do not find suitable words to express my gratitude for the services he's rendering. And I think we must all stand up to thank him for the services he has done.
हमारी लीगल एजुकेशन कमेटी की अभी मीटिंग थी और मैं उठ के जा रहा था, इन्होंने तारीफ करनी शुरू की तो मैं यहाँ पे बीच में बैठ गया। लगता है तारीफ होगी। प्लीज बैठे। किसको कहते हैं? इज वेरी काइंड सर। योर स्टूडेंट सर, प्लीज। आई जॉइन यू शॉर्टली।
You see why I opted to tell you one thing. We have become, unfortunately, thankless people. We don't thank our parents. When I'm saying we don't thank our parents, I mean to say we are not as obedient as we need to be. We don't thank our teachers. So we need to develop a mindset of gratitude, because this is the only way we can move forward. And in this profession of law, believe you me, that if you feel indebted to your teachers, to your seniors, they are hell-bent to contribute for your development, either it is professional or your development regarding the skills involved in this profession. Though in this session, I will prefer to be bilingual, but as Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab has just mentioned, that I have the veneration and privilege since 2012 to be a resource person of Punjab Judicial Academy, where I'm teaching legal parlance to additional district and session judges, to the civil judges, and I have the privilege to share this area of law or this area of practice, which is known as legal parlance, with the prosecutor generals, officers of Advocate General Punjab. And as a humble student of law, I am of the view that our first and foremost duty is to develop our skill to communicate. That is first and foremost. I am Punjabi speaking. During the course of this 2-hour session, we will have small talks also, where I will allow you to pose questions, where we may speak any language, Urdu, English or Punjabi, but because we are born Punjabi. But as a matter of fact, the language of this profession is English. And let me start my session while sharing a quote. In this quote, I will share 3 key points. And I may ask someone sitting at the back, someone sitting at the back, someone sitting at the back and talking to each other. My friend with the beard, the gentleman just arrived. If I will find someone talking to each other, I will invite him or her right here, and I'll ask him or her to share what I have just shared. Because, as I said earlier, that right from Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum and rest of the resource persons, including Naushad, we are here to contribute. And when we are here to contribute, we want you to give your maximum. So, when we expect you to give your maximum, the first and foremost is to listen carefully. So let me begin while sharing that in this profession, you all aspire to be late, Mr. S.M. Zafar, to be late, Malik Muhammad Qayyum, Almighty Allah may rest their souls in heaven. You really want to be that prolific lawyer. But mind it, the quote I'm going to share with you in a minute, I want you to write it down and make it the part and parcel of your daily life. Late Mr. S.M. Zafar, who is the teacher of Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab also. If you read his book, Mere Mashhoor Muqaddme, you will find that he has attributed some of the areas of his work to Mr. Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum also. And that is in terms of research work he had been doing while practicing with him as his junior associate. Mr. S.M. Zafar, since we shared this similar feeling that he was my teacher too. Let me share his quote, and he said, a lawyer with a law degree is a mason. A lawyer, my friend sitting at the back with the beard, I requested not to talk to each other. So please don't talk to each other. You have to appreciate the fact that we are sparing our precious time for your growth, for your development. So you have to listen carefully. Mr. S.M. Zafar has said that a lawyer with a law degree is a mason, but, and that must be in capital letters, B-U-T, but. But a lawyer with the knowledge of language, literature, and social order of his time is an architect. Let me repeat. A lawyer with a law degree is a mason, but a lawyer having the knowledge of language, literature, and social order of his time is an architect. The lawyers, we know them today and we salute them for their services in the development of jurisprudence in this country. They are the architects. So if you want to be an architect, make sure that a single sentence you utter in the court of law, and a while ago, Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahab was just sharing his own practical experience, that he bears in mind that what I am going to communicate in the court of law, what possibilities I have to explore, and how should I convince the judge. So all these abilities you can inculcate in yourself once you are good at communication, and that is of paramount importance. So this is fundamental in this profession, whether you intend to do practice in the field of civil law or in the field of criminal law, or you want to develop your own niche in the areas of NAB laws or banking laws or intellectual property laws, name a field. Today I'll be specific to the area which is medical law and jurisprudence, because this is an emerging field. And I'm delighted that especially during the last 12 years, since 2012, as a lawyer, I had the privilege to assist courts all over the country while representing Pakistan Medical and Dental Council. And once I have completed my tenure with PMNDC as their lawyer, now I'm serving medical and dental colleges as their advisor. Now I'm serving different associations of medical men or the medical fraternity. I am advisor to Association of Family Physicians Pakistan, Young Doctors Association, Pakistan Medical Association, and above all, I'm honored to be the advisor to Association of University Physicians and Surgeons of Pakistan. And let me once again share with you that the patron-in-chief of that Association of University Physicians and Surgeons of Pakistan, the top-notch association of medical men in this country, the patron-in-chief is Professor Dr. Javed Akram, a real uncle of Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum.
देखिए उन्होंने मुझे अपना वकील नहीं किया, इनको कर लिया.
As a matter of fact, he made a second choice actually. First choice is always Barrister Muhammad Ahmed, because I am his student, I must say, because the way he addresses the court, the way judges gives him reverence, telling you the truth. And that is due to his legal acumen. That is his honesty, that is his integrity, and that is his preparation above all. I've been witnessing him as a lawyer for last 10, 12 years, and the way he presents, it is outstanding. So let me, in fact, begin this topic discussion, medical law and practice. This is my guidebook actually, and we will be sharing this with you. And Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahab is very kind that he will be presenting this guidebook as a token of appreciation to one sitting here who will perform the best in the questionnaire we will be sharing, which is based on this presentation. You will be given a questionnaire in the half session. You will be asked to answer. We will check it. My teammates, Ms. Mehreen Abbas, advocate, Mr. Zorez Minhas, they are sitting here, and they'll quickly check it. They have the answer key, and the result we will announce while presenting this guidebook to one who will earn the highest marks. So you have to listen to the whole presentation very carefully. And at the end, I'll give you the time to pose questions and I'll answer them. Secondly, this guidebook actually, the foreword on this guidebook is written by Professor Dr. Javed Akram, the Patron-in-Chief of Association of Physicians and Surgeons of Pakistan. So let's begin our session. Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahar has rightly mentioned that we very often come across this very information that there is a case of medical negligence. At times our relatives, they fall a victim of maltreatment of a healthcare service provider or healthcare establishment. Now, at the very outset, let me share with you the definition of these two key words, which will enable you to understand the whole conversation. So, first of all, let's have a look at the second slide, and I'd like to have a volunteer, if I may ask my Beti sitting right in the corner, can you please stand up and read the very first definition carefully, loudly.
The Punjab Healthcare Commission Act 2010, relevant provisions. Healthcare establishment means a hospital, diagnostic center, medical clinics, nursing home, maternity home, tender clinic, homeopathic clinic, tip clinic, acupuncture, physiotherapy clinic, or any other premises or conveyance.
Thank you very much. May I have your name, please?
Arish.
Miss Arij. Miss Marine, please write down the names. Okay, so Miss Arij has just read the definition given in Healthcare Commission Act 2010, and that is healthcare establishment. And as you have seen, that this encompasses almost all places of practice where doctor actually they impart services to the ailing people or to the patients. Now the next definition is healthcare services, and may I ask my brother sitting here, gentlemen, can you please read the definition? Please stand up and read it loudly.
Healthcare services means services provided for diagnosis.
Can you be loud, please? Loud. Can you do that favor, please?
Healthcare services means services provided for diagnosis, treatment, or care of persons suffering from any physical or mental disease, injury or disability, including procedures that are similar to form of medical, dental, or surgical care, but are not provided in connection with a medical condition, and includes any other services notified by the government.
Thank you very much. By the way, let me help you out to earn this guidebook. And you see the privileges that it will be presented to you by Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab. And that is the real veneration. That is the real honor actually. You can find it, the soft copies we have already shared, you can get it printed. But the way you will be presented by the Chairman Education Committee, I must say that the life chairman, the chartered chairman, the founder chairman of Education Committee, that will be the real honor. So let me share with you, to help you out, I have prepared 20 questions for you. These are multiple choice questions and fill in the blanks questions. There is an answer in this definition of one of the questions. So read it very carefully, and while I'm reading out, actually, I'd like you to focus on this, because one of the question is framed from this definition. That is, healthcare services means services provided for diagnosis, treatment, or care of persons suffering from any physical or mental disease, injury or disability, including procedures that are similar to forms of medical, dental, or surgical care, but are not provided in connection with a medical condition, and includes any other services notified by the government. So this was regarding the healthcare services. Now, healthcare service provider. This is really a key definition. Before we read this definition, anybody who is licensed to provide these services, that includes a qualified doctor, that includes, it's not only to the field of allopathic only, the other fields of healthcare dispensation also includes in this area. And if I may request my Betty sitting right there to read the definition of healthcare service provider loudly.
Healthcare service provider. Healthcare service provider means an owner, manager, or in charge of a healthcare establishment, and includes a person registered by the Medical and Dental Council, Council for Teeth, Council for Homeopathy, or Nursing Council.
That is right. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Healthcare service provider. Actually, these key definitions are very important, because during the course of this discussion, I will be using very often these terms actually. So you need to bear in mind, what does healthcare establishment mean? You need to bear in mind that what does healthcare service provider mean? And by the way, these quacks actually, we will discuss later, those who are neither licensed by Pakistan Medical and Dental Council, nor having any license by Council of Homeopathy, etc., they are the quacks actually. We cannot call them health care service provider. And interestingly speaking, Barrister Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, it was in the year 2016, I was representing Association of Family Physicians Pakistan, and there was a law in Punjab known as Allopathic Prescription Rules 1968. Under those rules actually, the rule 4 of that enactment used to provide a permit to a dispenser who can produce a certificate issued by a qualified doctor that this dispenser has worked with me for 7 years. So Punjab Association of Dispensers, they filed a writ petition in High Court. We sought court's permission to be impleaded as party, the Association of Family Physicians Pakistan. And when matter was brought before the court, it is a reported judgment 2016, that is PLD, page number I'll share later. And in that judgment, what happened in the open court? It was presided over by His Lordship Mr. Justice Farrukh Irfan Khan, and the Learned Council representing Dispensers Association Punjab was unable to explain a point. Judge Sahab has just asked that where is your client? The Learned Council just looked back and asked in a loud voice, Dr. Sahab, can you please come forward? Dr. Sahab, zara aaiye, baat suniye. Acha, now to call a dispenser a doctor, this is a very common phenomenon. So there was a laughter in the court, and that you dare to call a dispenser, a quack, a doctor. So we are observing in our rural areas, even in our tehsils or in our districts, that those who are not qualified, they are having far more furnished practice than a qualified doctor. But you need to bear in mind that they are neither the doctors nor healthcare service providers. Now let's move on and Now we have come to the definition of medical negligence. I'll confine myself today, keeping in view the time given actually. We have 1.5 hours now, so we have 3 more activities to do, including your test, including the question and answer session. So let me be quick actually. And now this medical negligence, I need any volunteer. Ms. Arij, can you please read out the definition of medical negligence?
Medical negligence means a case where a patient sustains injury or dies as a result of improper treatment in a healthcare establishment and, in case of death, determined on the basis of medical autopsy report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Arij. Now, there are few keywords which are really important. The medical negligence will be determined on the basis of autopsy. In my practice, in this field, there are dozens of cases where we have simply won the case based on the fact that there was no autopsy conducted as far as patient was concerned, or the allegation cannot be ascertained because there was no autopsy that there is the medical negligence committed by the doctor. Now, bear in mind that God forbid you have someone near and dear and he or she has suffered from the maltreatment or the gross negligence of a healthcare service provider. Now, make sure that you advise that relative or a friend or whosoever that make sure that the autopsy is conducted. Because without autopsy, you cannot establish under the eye of law that there is a medical negligence. So that is of key importance. A healthcare service provider may be held guilty of medical negligence on one of the following 2 findings. Now, these 2 findings, I may request my brother once again. Your good name is? Dain Sahab. Mr. Dain, can you please loudly and quickly read?
The health establishment does not have the requisite human resource and equipments which it professes to have possessed. Or he or any of his employees did not, in the given case, exercise with reasonable competence the skill which he or his employee did possess. The recognized and known complications of a medical or surgical treatment are not considered as medical negligence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dain. Now, there are 2 questions I have framed from this page. So you need to, when you will be given 5 minutes to prepare your, test, I'd like you to quickly go through this page carefully because it constitutes 2 questions, at least 2 questions. Now, in bold writing, I have mentioned that the recognized and known complications of a medical or surgical treatment are not considered as medical negligence. This is actually given in law, that is the definition of medical negligence, and there is an exception which is just mentioned here. Now the question is that, God forbid, a patient died, but the death is due to the known complication. For instance, it was in the year 2021, I was representing one of the top-notch liver transplant surgeon of our country, and allegation was that the death of the patient is due to the negligence committed by the worthy doctor. We were able to establish that the complications which were accrued subsequently were not the one actually where the doctor's negligence is involved. And furthermore, we were able to establish that the complications which took place actually subsequent to the surgery, those were known complications. and known complications do not constitute medical negligence. So this is of fundamental importance. Known complications. Let's say in that case of a liver transplant resection, what happened? That leading doctor, he just conducted a resection of the liver. The patient was about 68 years of age, having number of other complications, and right after 38 days of his operation, he died. We were able to establish that after the surgery, he was normal, left the hospital, and hospital means health care establishment, left the healthcare establishment, remained in contact with Dr. Sahab. Post-operational guidance was given to the attendants of the patient, and whatever happened subsequently after 38 days, those were known medical complications. So this is a key point we need to bear in mind. Now let's move on. First of all, I'll present you the case that you are representing a doctor. In that case, what safeguards are available for your clients while he has engaged you? And let me point out here that in this practice of medical law, you will find that there are different tiers available where you can go for your redressal. First of all, the aggrieved person, the one who is alleging that there is a malpractice, excuse me, the gentleman sitting at the back, may I request you to please come here? And what's your good name? Yes, please come here. There is a chair for you. So may I have your name, please? Shazib Sahab, please. As I said earlier, what we expect from you, your response for the valuable time spared by Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum or rest of the resource persons. Your response needs to be in terms of your attention. If you are still busy with your mobile phones, I'm afraid to say that you're not making the best use of your time. So we are here to enhance our abilities together. And you are at the verge of joining the profession. Bear in mind that the presiding person, either a teacher or a judge in courtroom, make sure when you enter the courtroom, your phone is mute. Don't dare to turn on your mobile phone or look at your mobile phone while judge is presiding. Either he is a civil judge or he is the judge of Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan. If you want respect in court as a lawyer, give respect. And that starts the way, the day you are wearing the black coat. Give respect and earn respect in response. Shazib Sahab. Right, so let's proceed actually. And I'm sharing with you that here you are representing a doctor. How many of you are having siblings or cousins who are in the profession of, who are in medical profession? Can you please raise hand? Wow. So, interesting. Interesting. So as a matter of fact, now the points I'm going to share with you, I'd like you to share, because I have seen more than 20 hands risen, and that precisely means that you have clients available at home. So you see, charity begins at home. Share your knowledge with your close friends, with your classmates. Tell them that, look, you're a doctor. Response is yes. Are you registered with Healthcare Commission Punjab? If the reply is no, tell him that this is alarming. You are inviting trouble for yourself. If so, till to date, you are not registered, your healthcare establishment, the clinic, the hospital, the polyclinic, etc., if it is not registered and licensed by Healthcare Commission Punjab, or if it is in the province of Sindh, by Healthcare Commission Sindh, etc., you are at the verge of hardship. Because God forbid, if there is a case of medical negligence against you, you won't have the umbrella of law. Nobody will come forward to safeguard or rescue you. While I have given you this context, actually I am inviting Shahzeb Sahab to read the next definition. Mr. Shahzeb, please stand up and read loudly the next definition. That is, yes, immunity.
Immunity, no suit, prosecution or other legal proceedings related to provision of healthcare service shall lie against a healthcare service provider except under this Act.
Absolutely right. Now, this immunity is only available to your healthcare establishment. This immunity is only available if your healthcare establishment, and when I said healthcare establishment, let me remind you that it is even a conveyance, an emergency conveyance actually, a 1122's conveyance even, can be called healthcare establishment. Now, the healthcare establishment or your clinic, polyclinic, hospital, 500-bedded hospital, teaching hospital, tertiary care hospital, primary hospital, or district headquarter hospital, name a hospital. That is a healthcare establishment. Now, your healthcare establishment, under the law, is required to be registered and licensed by Healthcare Commission Punjab. And if it is not registered or licensed, it means you cannot enjoy the immunity which is available in law. We will have a question answer at the session. Please note down your question and we will answer this. Now, next question is,
आपकी इजाजत से मैं एक इनकी एक्साइटमेंट बढ़ाने के लिए कर दूं, आपके खानदान के अंदर अगर वो रजिस्टर्ड हैं, अगर कोई बंदा मर जाता है उनकी इसको कहते हैं मेडिकल सर्विस की वजह से, तो पर्चा नहीं हो सकता. लोग यहाँ पे धड़ाधड़ उसके ऊपर पर्चा करवाने की कोशिश वगैरह करते हैं, पुलिस के पास जाते हैं. उसको अगर तोड़ना हो तो ये इम्यूनिटी का सेक्शन इसलिए जरूरी है आपके लिए. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सिक्वेंस ऑफ जो चीजें आपके सामने पड़ी जा रही हैं, एंड दे आर ऑल अपॉर्चुनिटी जो कि आप एक्चुअल केसेस में यूज करेंगे. डेफिनेशन जब आप इब्तिदा में थे वो आपका हर बंदा क्लाइंट था. उसके अंदर ये अच्छा होम्योपैथ भी हो सकता है, आयुर्वेदिक भी हो सकता है, ये भी इसके नीचे आता है, ये भी आता है. अच्छा, ये भी मेरा क्लाइंट बन सकता है, इससे भी मैं पैसे ले सकता हूँ, इससे भी पैसे ले सकते हैं. Engage with the material on this particular nukta. This is probably one of the most important immunities. वकीलों को इसके इक्विवेलेंट भी थोड़ी बहुत बीच में इम्यूनिटी मिली हुई है. दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट अ ब्लैंकेट इम्यूनिटी. जब तक हेल्थ केयर कमीशन से इजाजत नहीं मिलेगी तो पर्चा नहीं होगा, लीगल प्रोसिक्यूशन बंदे की नहीं होगी. आके डॉक्टरों के खिलाफ ये करने के लिए इसको कैसे तोड़ते हैं, इससे बाहर कैसे निकलते हैं, ये चीजें वगैरह आपके लिए देखने के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. इस नुक्ते को इसलिए करें, इतना आराम से ना गुजर लेने दीजिए. सॉरी सर.
Sir, thank you very much. This, in fact, reinforcement was really required because Section 29 provides of Healthcare Commission Act Punjab that no prosecution, suit can be initiated against healthcare service provider or healthcare establishment without referral from Punjab Healthcare Commission. Now, with practical relevance, because Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahab, he has just pointed out to an area where let me further reinforce that how things work practically. Let's say there is an allegation of medical negligence. Your cousin has just telephoned you late night that there was a C-section I was conducting late night, and God forbid the newborn is born dead. But I have taken all possible precautions. There was not an iota of negligence at my part. this is the will of God. Now what should I do? Because the relatives, they have gathered outside my clinic, and they are raising hue and cry, and in this scenario, how can you help me out? So the first and foremost thing is that ask your client, a future client, that share with me quickly the patient notes. Bearing in mind the patient notes, draft a complaint addressing to the Healthcare Commission. Because I may add that the definition of aggrieved person in Healthcare Commission Act, the aggrieved person is not only the patient or the patient attendant, it is the doctor also. He can also lodge a complaint if there is any manhandling on the part of the attendants of the patient. So he or she can also file a complaint. So be proactive, preempt the possible outcome, and the possible outcome can be that by the morning you may receive the police van asking that there is a complaint, Dr. Sahab, against you, or maybe by that time, if they have fleeced the palm of the police officials, by that time they have lodged an FIR against you. Knowingly, when I'm using the word knowingly, I was instrumental while associating with Dr. Tariq Mahmood Mia, the Chartered President of Association of Family Physicians Pakistan. In the year 2011, then the IG Police has issued a notification for the whole of Punjab directing the police officials, do not lodge an FIR against a healthcare service provider or healthcare establishment. If you receive a complaint, forward it to the Healthcare Commission, and if you will find a referral subsequently after the determination of the fact that there is a medical negligence, then you are to proceed as per law. But you cannot put the cart before the horse. As Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab has just mentioned, that normally what happened, this immunity actually which is provided under the law is not available in practice. So let me get back to the real scenario, that your cousin has contacted you, she is facing this hardship. Lodge a complaint early morning to the Healthcare Commission, get a diary number, approach concerned police station, apprise them that this incident has taken place last night. Tell to the SHO or the investigation officer that I am apprehending that they may approach you for seeking or lodging of an FIR. So make sure that you have already shared this information, that I have filed a complaint against the attendant or the patient because they have attempted to manhandle my security staff. They have also attempted to reach out to my clinic place, and I am having serious apprehension of assault. So under these observations, write a complaint to the Healthcare Commission, provide a copy to the concerned police station to safeguard yourself. So this is the first safeguard, and this is the immunity clause. Ms. Areej, may I request you once again to read this immunity, because Sir Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahab has rightly emphasized that this is the umbrella your client has available. Ms. Areej, please.
Immunity, no suit, prosecution or other legal proceedings related to provision of healthcare services shall lie against a healthcare service provider except under this Act.
Can you please read the next, and I'd like you to read twice actually, both of the definitions.
License means a license issued by the Commission under the Act for the use of any premises or conveyance as a healthcare establishment, and licensing shall be constructed accordingly.
Thank you very much. So now the two key points actually we have just shared. One was immunity and second was license. So make sure you're advising to your client, your cousin, your friend, your classmate who is a doctor, practicing doctor, that please make sure that your healthcare establishment, or maybe sometimes they are working at a hospital or polyclinic. So tell them that please go to your employer or healthcare establishment manager. By the way, in healthcare establishment, a healthcare provider can be the manager of the hospital also, the owner of the hospital also. So tell your client or future client that go to your healthcare service establishment's manager, ask him a copy of the license issued by Healthcare Commission. And if they are not licensed, don't practice at that clinic. Because if something will go wrong, there can be hardships under the law one can face. And the hardships are multifaceted. What is happening against the doctors in the country at this moment? First of all, FIRs are lodged. After the FIR, you know that if you, in fact, I practically quote an example. Barrister Sahab, recently, I was engaged as a counsel. There is a surgeon, Professor Doctor. I was representing him. And interestingly, what happened, that on that evening, 2 patients were admitted in his healthcare facility for minor operations. One of the patients was admitted with the name of Rukhsana Tabassum, wife of Muhammad Tabassum. And second patient who was admitted was Rukhsana Zulfikar, wife of Muhammad Zulfikar. Now both of the patients, one was there for the removal of gallbladder, and the second patient was there for the operation of varicose veins. These are the veins actually we have in this portion of leg, the second part of, lower part of the leg. So varicose veins operation. Now Rukhsana Zulfikar and Rukhsana Tabassum, now the hospital is a teaching hospital. Teaching hospital means that a hospital which is to cater the students of a medical and dental college. That Professor Dr. Sahab is also the owner of a medical and dental college. He's the owner of a 500-bedded hospital, and at the same time he's a surgeon, very busy surgeon. Now on the following day, the day of operation, both patients were scheduled for operation. But the OT assistant, when presented the files to the surgeon's assistant in the operation theater, he has swapped the files. And now you know what happened. The one who was there for the removal of gallbladder was the second in line, but one was there for the varicose veins operation. Her gallbladder was removed. Now, the question is that you, as I said earlier, that we are here representing the doctor for a minute, right? Now, we were able to safeguard our client, first of all, for the reasons that we have opted this strategy. Our hospital was duly licensed by Healthcare Commission. It was having a regular license, not a provisional license. Our facility was otherwise up to the mark. And it was a allied teaching hospital of a medical college, duly recognized by Pakistan Medical and Dental Council and duly affiliated with University of Health Sciences. Now, in this background, we were able to safeguard our client because we have shifted the burden to the OT assistant. We have dismissed him from the duty, number one, and we have taken all the measures under minimum service delivery standards, actually, MSDS, which are the part and parcel of a practice, actually. These are MSDS. These are minimum service delivery standards. These are, in fact, prepared by Healthcare Commission, and all facilities or healthcare establishments are supposed to follow these instructions. But we said that, well, there is a human error. OT assistant has committed this mistake, and resultantly we were able to safeguard our client.
Compensation नहीं देनी पड़ी gall bladder की.
We did it, sir.
Compensation.
But that was off the record. Actually, now, here let me again. In fact, Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab's presence is really a blessing in a sense that the area where I just skip actually some of the important details, he just points out. And what really happened? Bear in mind the word compensation he used. Practically what happened? Why Healthcare Commission role is there? As a lawyer, your duty is to stay within the confine of law. We are of the view that Healthcare Commission has a 6 members board of commissioners. Those commissioners of Healthcare Commission are doctors. They are specialists in different fields. Once complaint is lodged to the Healthcare Commission by an aggrieved person, they ascertain, while issuing notices to both the parties, asking them to file reply and comments, and subsequently they give a proper hearing to both the parties. And they ascertain that whether there is a medical negligence, whether there is a gross medical negligence, whether this is a human error, or whether this is a known medical complication which cannot be attributed to the doctor. As I said earlier, doctors are not like having the powers to extend life, isn't it? They are like human beings, like we all basically. Do we have the power to win a case, to guarantee a client that yes, we will win your case? No, we can't. Our job is just to assist the court. Likewise, doctor's job is to provide health care services, right? Now, what happened? My brother was raising the hand, but we will take the questions in a while actually. Let me just draw the outline first for you. And now compensation, the word used by Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahab, let me explain that. Once it is determined by Healthcare Commission that there is a gross medical negligence, then there are powers embodied in law that Healthcare Commission can direct law enforcement agencies, city district government, to proceed against that healthcare establishment or to proceed against the healthcare service provider. The law is not meant for the doctors only. It is meant for the patient's welfare also. So let first the Healthcare Commission's commissioners who are professionals determine that there is a medical negligence. And by the way,
I'm sorry, do they protect their own? Has it not been the experience that doctors को ही protect करते रहते हैं doctor?
No, sir. Let me quote an example, recent example. I have more than 17 appeals pending before medical tribunal. And let me first give you an insight and then I'll come to Barrister Sahab's point. Let me first conclude the point of compensation and then protection or whether there are orders against doctors. I'll explain them also. Now, first of all, let's talk about the compensation. Now, let's say that Healthcare Commission has reached to this conclusion that there is a negligence at the part of healthcare establishment's manager. The clinic, the hospital, the operation theatre was not following the minimum service delivery standards. There are hundreds of cases where up to 500,000 rupees fine was imposed on healthcare establishment. Number one. Number two, the Healthcare Commission can pass recommendations to even Pakistan Medical and Dental Council to cancel the license of the doctor. And sir,
खुद नहीं cancel कर सकते.
they cannot, sir. They can impose a fine. They can only, because now there is a reason actually. You have to bear in mind the question of jurisdiction. It is Pakistan Medical and Dental Council which provides license to practice to a doctor. Now, the authority which is competent to issue license is competent to cancel the same. So, Healthcare Commission pass recommendations to Pakistan Medical and Dental Council to cancel the license of the doctor. And by the way, while practicing in this field, having today 17 appeals pending before medical tribunal. If Disciplinary Committee of Pakistan Medical and Dental Council reaches to this conclusion that the license of this doctor shall be cancelled, against that cancellation, you have a remedy of appeal before Pakistan Medical Tribunal based in Islamabad. This is the high-powered tribunal having 3 members. 2 are the retired judges of Honorable High Court and 1 is a member technical. I have recently filed a writ petition in High Court on behalf of Association of University Physicians and Surgeons of Pakistan and Association of Family Physicians Pakistan, wherein the very remedy available to the doctors to file an appeal against cancellation of license, that remedy is not available these days. The tribunal, medical tribunal, is dysfunctional. It has 3 members, Mr. Justice Safdar Saleem Shahid, Mr. Justice Retired Safdar Saleem Shahid of Lahore High Court, Mr. Justice Retired Muhammad Kamrani Sahab of Islamabad High Court. They are the 2 members of this medical tribunal. The 3rd member is missing for last 5 months. The federal government did not appoint the member technical, and resultantly that tribunal is dysfunctional. Now we are approaching the High Court, and during the course of this BBC you have learned that Article 199 and Article 183 empowers the apex courts to issue a writ of mandamus against the government, and here we are invoking the constitutional jurisdiction under Article 199. And if you recall, that article precisely says that where there is no other alternate efficacious remedy available, the court can take up that matter or direct the government. Either there are 3 tiers of government: the federal government, or the statutory authorities working for the federation, or the provincial government, or the statutory authorities working for the province, and third, the local government actually, or the authorities working on behalf of the local government. The writ can be issued. Now we are invoking the court actually that there is no tribunal in existence at this moment. So the suspended licenses of the doctors against the impugned decisions, we want that Honorable Court we are seeking this prayer from the court that the court may direct the suspension of the impugned orders of Disciplinary Committee of PM&DC and direct the federal government actually to constitute the medical tribunal. Now let's move on, and this is the time actually. We have spent half time of our session, and now let's proceed forward and quickly go through the content, next 2 more slides, and then we will distribute the papers. By the way, the next content is based on the very fact that whether this very liability of a healthcare establishment or healthcare service provider, how to determine that. In this regard, let's go through this. Ms. Areej, can you please go through it?
Doctors, healthcare providers are completely absolved from any criminal liability. Duly qualified and licensed by the relevant regulatory body such as PMC and PHCC. Only those healthcare establishments which are licensed by the PHCC and fulfill the criteria in accordance with the minimum service delivery standards meant for implementation at the clinic of the general practitioners, family physicians, or specialists. The recognized and non-complications for medical or surgical treatment are not considered as medical negligence. Non-medical complications do not constitute medical negligence, and any careless act of the healthcare provider cannot be termed as criminal.
Thank you very much. So by the way, negligence if committed. Now let me take this word of compensation of Barrister Mohammed Ahmed Sahab.
आपकी इजाजत से बिफोर मूव ऑन, ये MSDS मिलेगा कहाँ से हमने अगर उसे कंपेयर करना है? नहीं, you have it, but is it available online?
Online,
because
sir.
अगर इन्होंने प्रैक्टिस किसकी PMDC की वेबसाइट पे, PHCC की, आपने वहां से जाके ये देखना है, कोई अगर आपके पास केस आया तो उसके मुताबिक जो स्टैंडर्ड मिनिमम देना था वो आपको इसमें से नजर आएगा, और मुकदमा आपने यही फॉर्मुलेट करना होगा कि इसको नहीं मीट किया गया, इसकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, अगर वो, और अगर आपने डिफेंस करना है तो ये उसके अंदर आप ये किताब उठा के लाएंगे, कहेंगे कि इसके अंदर मैं आ रहा हूं और हमने वो क्राइटेरिया मीट किया, इसलिए इस बंदे का के अगेंस्ट लाइबिलिटी नहीं बनती। तो ये जरा देख लीजिएगा। आई जस्ट वांटेड टू चेक इनको ये कहां से मटेरियल मिले।
सर, Punjab Healthcare Commission Act's website, the download portal actually provides all these documents, and as it is rightly mentioned, that while preparing your brief, go through these minimum service delivery standards to make sure that whether these standards are duly met by your, in fact, client, or if you are representing any grieved person who is a patient or patient attendant, then you can see that whether there is any anomaly on the part of the healthcare establishment or healthcare service provider. Now, I have, in fact, keeping in view certain areas of practice, I have a few case laws to share. We will have a quick reading. Mr. Daim, can you please read this slide?
Supreme Court of United Kingdom reported as Montgomery versus Lanarkshire Health Board held that the criterion of the duty of care owed by a doctor to his patient is whether he has acted in accordance with a practice accepted as proper by a body of responsible and skilled medical opinion to decide what risk the existence of which a patient should be voluntarily warned, and the terms in which such warning, if any, should be given, having regard to the effect that the warning may have, is as much as exercise of professional skill and judgment.
Thank you very much. Now, basically, this very judgment is given reverence by the Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan, and in numerous cases, this judgment is relied upon and referred by Lahore High Court, Lahore also. I have those citations to share as well. But as a matter of fact, as far as this question is concerned, that who can determine the negligence committed by a healthcare service provider? Actually, the whole discussion revolves around this very focal point. It is only the body of medical men. In our case, may I, excuse me, the gentleman sitting with the red tie, excuse me, gentlemen, can you please come here? Sir, please, can you please come here? Your good self. Yes, yes, please. Yes, please. Right. May I have your name, please? Sorry?
Daud.
Mr. Daud. Please, can you please sit right here? Yes, Daud Sahab. Thank you very much. Now, Daud Sahab will, in fact, read the next slide for us. And that is, as I said earlier, that the first citation I shared is from the English jurisdiction. Court of England has determined the very fact that it is the professional body, and in our case, while practicing in Punjab, it is Healthcare Commission. The Commission can determine that there is a medical negligence. And if there is a determination, as I said earlier, that what are the tiers available? First of all, against that determination that there is a medical negligence committed by Dr. Sahab, and that Dr. Sahab is known as health care service provider. Once recommendation is passed, let me tell you that there is a 60 days period available. First of all, that within 60 days of the accrual of cause of action, let's say a patient was admitted at a facility and patient is aggrieved that at a facility as on 17th January 2025, I was admitted at ABC hospital, and on 17th January, I was admitted in that hospital, or I got my husband admitted in that hospital on 17th January 2025. He had a hairline fracture on his leg. I took my husband to that healthcare establishment. The doctor on duty asked for an X-ray. We went to the X-ray lab. The X-ray was conducted, and I, along with my husband, came to the duty doctor and presented her that X-ray. Please listen carefully. This is a practical case where I was a counsel representing that lady doctor, and the patient was brought to the healthcare establishment simply with a hairline fracture on his leg. Hairline fracture only. And it was seen in the CCTV cameras that the woman is helping her husband to take him from the car, and he walked, the patient, with the help of his wife, to the healthcare establishment, entered the reception, paid the fee to the receptionist, and explained the condition. The receptionist on intercom called upon the duty doctor. The duty doctor came to the patient, asked the patient to go for the X-ray. X-ray was presented, and it was found it is merely a hairline fracture. But right after 10 minutes, it was seen in the CCTV footage that the patient with hairline fracture is dead. What happened? The happening was that the doctor prescribed an injection, a painkiller, and verbally communicated to the duty nurse that inject this injection. Now there are two types of injections. One is to be injected in muscle, that is IM, intra-muscle injection, or IV, that is to be injected in one's vein. What happened? The lady doctor passed this oral instructions to the duty nurse. The duty nurse came to the patient with the injection, which was brought from the pharmacy of the hospital by the wife of the patient. And while the nurse actually just asked the patient, can you just pull off your jacket or shirt? The patient said, Madam, it's been 3-4 days. I've been facing this ailment. I have had injections during the last 2-3 days also, in IM injections. Why don't you inject in my vein so that I can have a quick relief? That injection cannot be injected in one's vein because it was fatal, it was lethal, and resultantly, in few minutes' time, there was a failure of lungs of that patient, and patient died. Now, practically what happened, while I was representing that healthcare establishment and healthcare service provider, the news was in the media. They blocked that road outside the hospital. The patient's attendant and rest of the family members came over. The Chief Minister took the notice, directed the Commissioner Lahore to seal the hospital, directed the IG Police to lodge an FIR against the doctor, an owner of the hospital, and report in 2 hours. So hospital was sealed. Doctor was avoiding arrest, contacted my office. We asked them to reach our place as early as possible, along with the copy of the FIR. We sought pre-arrest bail of Dr. Sahab and honor of the hospital. And subsequently, we were able to establish that there is a human error, and while I am emphasizing that the human error needs to be determined, that whether there is a gross negligence or there is a negligence, or there is a dereliction of duty, or there is an omission on the part of healthcare service provider or healthcare establishment, and once it is determined, then the law can take its course. So in all cases, lodging of an FIR is not provided. While representing a doctor, please bear in mind that if there is an FIR against your client and there is no referral by the Healthcare Commission, then you can seek the quashment of that FIR. Then you can approach the High Court in writ jurisdiction and can seek the quashment. Now we have 45 minutes left. Now let's move on to the next planning. And Mr. Shahzeb will quickly read the judgment by Indian Supreme Court. Mr. Shahzeb, please.
The Supreme Court of Pakistan in Dr. Suresh Gupta case held.
Shahzeb sir, be loud.
Okay. No doubt in the Cannon case, the patient was a young man with no history of any heart-like alignment. The operation to be performed for nasal deformity was not so complicated or serious. From the medical opinion produced by the prosecution, the cause of death is stated to be not introducing a cuff endotracheal tube of proper size as to prevent aspiration of blood from the wound in the respiratory passage. This act attributed to the doctor, even if expected to be true, can be described as negligent. Act as there was lack of due care and precautions. For this act of negligence, he may be liable in tort, but his carelessness or want of due attention and skill cannot be described to be so reckless or grossly negligent as to make him criminally liable.
Thank you very much. Now let's bear in mind that in this judgment, let's say that if the equipment used by the healthcare establishment or available at the healthcare establishment and used by the healthcare service provider, that is not up to the mark. Or there is another reported judgment where the oxygen cylinder was not available. Now, can you hold the doctor on duty liable for that non-availability of a oxygen cylinder?
No.
Here comes the point. You're right, absolutely right, that you cannot hold that doctor liable for, or you cannot say that this is the negligence attributed to the doctor. And here comes the role of Health Care Commission. The police cannot determine that whether there is a negligence on the part of a healthcare service provider or healthcare establishment. And moreover, recently Lahore High Court Lahore held in Naseem Akhtar's case, while relying on Dr. Suresh Gupta's judgment, upheld that. That is the next point. And may I ask my brother, can you please read out the next slide, please? Yes, please.
For initiating criminal proceeding in cases of medical negligence, the complaining person is required to show that the death was due to gross negligence or recklessness of the doctor. Thus, when a patient appears to go for medical treatment or surgical operation, every careless act of the medical man cannot be termed as criminal. It can be termed criminal only when the medical man exhibits a gross lack of competence or inaction and wanton, deliberate, cruel or violent action. Indifference to his patient's safety and which is found to have arisen from gross ignorance or gross negligence, where a patient's death results merely from error of judgment or an accident,
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. May I have your name, please? Mr. Akhtar Hussain. Ms. Mehreen, please write his name. Right. Now, let's understand one thing. As you know that under Section 154 CRPC, FIRs are lodged. I have shared with you the law from the English jurisdiction. I have shared the latest judgment by Indian Supreme Court, the reliance made by the Honorable Lahore High Court Lahore in its recent citation, and there are a number of precedents wherein it was held that to determine that there is a gross criminal negligence on the part of a healthcare service provider or healthcare establishment, you need to have recommendations by the Healthcare Commission. And all acts committed by doctors or omission on their part or any dereliction of duty cannot be termed as medical negligence. So far we have reached to this conclusion. Now, for your practice of law, you need to bear in mind that when a doctor approaches you, that he is preempting some kind of assault at his healthcare establishment, or maybe physical assault to his person by the patient attendants, or this occurrence has taken place, for instance, approach Healthcare Commission with the complaint on behalf of your client. Make sure you are enclosing with your complaint the registration of the healthcare establishment, even if it is provisional registration, and the license to practice issued by Pakistan Medical and Dental Council or Homeopathic Council, etc., etc. Once that complaint is lodged, the Healthcare Commission, the Board of Commissioners will give an audience to both the parties and they will pass recommendations. Against those recommendations, I used the word earlier, 60 days. Within 60 days from the accrual of cause of action, a complaint can be lodged. Either parties, the patient attendant, or the healthcare establishment manager or healthcare service provider can lodge a complaint within 60 days. Limitation is very important. There are numerous cases where Healthcare Commission did not grant any relief to the complainant on the grounds that the limitation period is over. So 60 days is the limitation period. And if Healthcare Commission has passed recommendations against the healthcare service provider and imposed a fine of 500,000 rupees or less, or the recommendation is against healthcare service provider, the doctor, to the Pakistan Medical and Dental Council for the cancellation of his license or for the cancellation of her license, then against those recommendations, the first remedy you have available is before the district judge. Under Healthcare Commission Act, the remedy you have available is before the district judge. The learned district judge can hear the appeal filed by the aggrieved person against the recommendations passed by the Healthcare Commission, and after hearing both the parties, the appeal can be decided either way.
What it was medical tribunal?
Please write it down. Question session we will be having in few minutes time. Now, as I said earlier, Healthcare Commission's recommendations are amenable to the right of appeal before the district judge. And when I'm using the word district judge, it is the district judge only, because law has delegated or assigned this role to the district judge. He cannot delegate it to the additional district judges. So it is just the one district judge. So if you are interested in this area of practice, you can ask the court associate that on what day you fix the cases of Healthcare Commission or appeals are fixed before you. Normally it is one day. So you can sit there for an hour or so and you can hear out the lawyers representing Healthcare Commission or the clients actually. So this is how you can develop your skill and know-how on this subject, number one. Number two, appeal is decided. Against the appeal, in certain areas you have a remedy of writ available. So you can lodge a writ, you can file a writ in the Honorable High Court, and you can seek the remedy if the appeal is decided against you. Now there is another tier also. If recommendations are sent to the Pakistan Medical and Dental Council, and the disciplinary committee of Pakistan Medical and Dental Council has initiated the proceedings. Now here I have in mind the question raised by my brother sitting right there. If the recommendations are against healthcare establishment, then the appeal will be preferred to the district judge. A fine is imposed. But if it is, and you are aggrieved, you are of the view that your clinic, your hospital did not commit any mistake, there is no error on your part, Healthcare Commission has decided against your healthcare establishment, against the law, against the facts on ground. You can lodge an appeal against that decision as a healthcare establishment manager to the district judge, right? Imposition of fine. But if the recommendation is against the healthcare service provider, the Dr. Sahab, who is duly licensed by Pakistan Medical and Dental Council, then the appeal will lie to the disciplinary committee of Pakistan Medical and Dental Council. And if Pakistan Medical and Dental Council decides against you and uphold the decision rendered by Healthcare Commission, Healthcare Commission says Dr. ABC's license should be cancelled. Disciplinary committee of PMNDC said, yes, it is correct. It has to be cancelled for good. Or it has to be suspended for 6 months. Or it has to be cancelled for 1 year, for instance. Now against that decision, rendered by the disciplinary committee of PMNDC, you have a right of appeal before the medical tribunal. And against the decision of medical tribunal, you can challenge that decision before the Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan. So this is the legal hierarchy available to a healthcare service provider or to an aggrieved person who has initiated through a complaint before the Healthcare Commission. But in the whole scenario, there is no place for the police or for the district administration to seal the hospital or healthcare establishment or to lodge an FIR against the healthcare service provider unless or until referred by Healthcare Commission. And by the way, if Healthcare Commission reaches to this conclusion that there is a gross negligence, there is a gross, criminal negligence, then of course that referral can be sent to the law enforcement agencies. So this is how this whole mechanism works. And before I open the session for questions and answers, and I ask my teammates to distribute the questionnaires for your test. It is in fact just for 10 minutes test because there are multiple choice questions and there are fill in the blanks. So you will just be given 10 minutes for attempting it. And this is like open book. You have the notes right in front and you have the soft copies also available. So you can open the soft copies also. You can use your mobile, but you have to do it yourself only. Do not ask the person sitting next to you. So in the meantime, while Ms. Mehreen Abbas Advocate and Mr. Zorez are distributing the question papers, please don't start it. No, everybody has to start at the same time. So please pause. Right, let them distribute till the last person. And my brothers, can you please come forward? All friends sitting at the back. Please be quick. Have a table in front so that you can attempt your paper. Those who are not having table at the front, please come forward and get ready to attempt the paper. Please don't start, and actually we will have attempt this paper first, and at the end we will have a session for question and answers. So now just focus. You can of course open the slides from your mobile phone. It is open book, and you can just if you can quickly do so, seek a help from your slides in order to answer the questions. So please let me know once all have received the question papers. So
What if the complainant is not satisfied with the decision of health commission? What he will do?
right, I have noted your question. We will answer at the end. Now, if the last paper is distributed, then let's start. It is those who have just entered actually. Excuse me, madam, please, can you please come forward? Miss Mary, please ask the lady to come at the front. Madam, please come at the front. Those who have just entered shall also receive their question papers and attempt it. And of course, this guidebook is waiting for someone sitting among you. So let's see who is he or she. So now please start. So your time, it's 11:30. We have exact 10 minutes. Zuresa, please be quick. Miss Marine, please make sure it is distributed to every member. Please raise hand if you haven't received. The madam sitting there. My brother sitting at the corner. Please raise hand if you haven't received your question papers so far. You can, it is open book, in fact test, so you can seek help from your slides available on your mobile phones. Nine minutes to go. Excuse me, Miss Penny. 7 minutes to go. You won't get extra time, so please be quick because it is already open book. So it is to be prompt to respond. Answer to once is collected, please ask to enter also. And I request Mr. Richi, Mr. Dani, Mr. Shasi, Mr. Circle to quickly check so that at the end we can announce the winner. Half time is over. 5 minutes to go. So last 2 minutes, make sure your name, your contact number and your district is mentioned at the top of the question paper. And we need to be quiet. Be quiet, please. Please raise hand if you are done. Excellent. Very good. Very nice. Good. So last minute to go. And those who are done, can please raise the hand once again? So there are many. Can you please come forward? Please come forward, all those who are finished with their paper. So bring your paper, and Ms. Mehreen, Mr. Zores, please collect their papers, and you please help us to collect the papers from rest of them, right? But just a minute, don't start collection right away. The last minute, the time is extended, so you will have another minute to go. So just finish it. And those who are done, can you please go to the back and start collection? Yes, please. Give your paper to Ms. Mehreen. those who are done can help us out to collect the answer sheets as early as possible. Time is over. May I ask all interns to please collect the papers so that we can move to the next very invaluable session, and that is questions and answers. And we have 20 minutes to go, and so we have to recap what we have discussed so far. Mr. Shahzeb, Mr. Daim, and Ms. Arij. Can you please come here? Ms. Arij, please come here. Mr. Shahzeb, Mr. Daim. You will join Ms. Mehreen Abbas and Mr. Zores to check the papers, right? Because we have a paucity of time, so we have to do it quickly, right? You may sit there. We have the answer keys, so you can check the papers quickly. You see, overwriting is not allowed, so don't you worry.
They are the checkers who will check them.
Ms. Mehreen, please make sure that Ms. Arij, Mr. Daim and Mr. Shahzeb's papers are checked by yourself. All right, so let's be quick. I think everybody has handed over the answer sheets to. Please hand it over so that we can start checking, because we have to accomplish this by and before 12.
Most of the person get equal marks on all the marks. What will be the criteria for the
Writing.
right?
Writing, if you got a good writing.
That was not,
Because blanks are also there.
That was not.
That we don't let you.
Yes. That was not.
Okay, so let's see. Then we can have a draw. Or we can give this, you see, discretion to Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum. Or we can see that who is wearing the right dress, who is nicely dressed up, who bothered to, to come prepared, you see. So anyway, I think now we have a question and answer session, and I need your attention. So let's regulate ourselves. You see, the practice of law, first of all, empowers us, being lawyers, to follow the law. The first dictate of law to a lawyer is to be subservient to law, to be law-abiding citizen. Because being a lawyer, we have no right to misuse the law. So now the first regulation is that during these question and answer session, for this, I want everybody to listen the question carefully and make sure that you have understood it, so that with this session you will be benefited, you will assimilate. So let's begin. My brother sitting at in the middle, he was asking a question. Please stand up and ask question so that you are audible. Everybody can hear that, right? This is how we can avoid repetance of questions. Please. You are not audible. Please speak loudly. May I have your name, please? Mr. Akhtar Hussain, thank you very much. I can expect that this is such an easy question that even some of your batchmates can reply. So who can answer to this question? Please raise hand. Yes, please. Can you please stand up and answer to his question? Very good. May I have your name, please? Mr. Maudud. District Judge is the Court of Appeal under Section 30 of Healthcare Commission Act 2010. An appeal can be lodged against the recommendations passed by Healthcare Commission against healthcare establishment. Let's say a fine is imposed or sealing of premises are recommended or whatever decision is made by the Healthcare Commission. The healthcare service provider, if he is the owner of healthcare establishment, can lodge an appeal before the district judge. Next question, please. Everybody, when you are using the word recommendations, recommendations can be made for a complaint lodged by a patient attendant, or the aggrieved doctor. Anybody who is aggrieved actually has to file a complaint, and complaint's outcome is recommendation. Akhtar Hussain Sahab, let me elaborate this question a little further. Perhaps if recommendation is that Healthcare Commission is not liable for any fine. Let's say this is the recommendation. Okay. All right. Actually, there is a ceiling. Up to 500,000 rupees fine can be imposed. And or if it is less, let's say 200,000 rupees, and now enhancement is desired by the complainant. Of course, complainant can file an appeal before the district judge against the recommendation wherein a fine of 200,000 rupees is imposed, and he is of the view that maximum fine is supposed to be imposed, right? So right of appeal is available to anybody who is aggrieved by the recommendations passed by the Healthcare Commission. Next question, please. Yes, please stand up, be audible so that everybody can hear.
Sir, my question is in regards to the situation that you mentioned, that instead of getting her very first veins removed, gallbladder was removed. Yesterday I was reading a blog post by Dr. Burr, who has 15 years experience in America, and he was, it was mentioned that if
You are not audible, so you just, address to the...
it was mentioned that blog post that once you remove your gallbladder, you have lifetime consequences that you have to face. So how can you compensate such a situation where you have to face such complications your whole life? How can you compensate such medical conditions?
That is right. Well, as far as compensation is concerned, you see, the appellate court can determine the quantum of compensation. In many cases, where the compensation is less than what is in fact otherwise required, keeping in view the enabling circumstances of the case, then of course the Court of Appeal can enhance that penalty if it is the compensation, and if it is found that this is a gross criminal negligence, then of course the criminal law can also come into action. But as I said earlier, that it will be determined by the Healthcare Commission, because that is the body of competent medical men, and relying on the judgments rendered. For example, there is a judgment from Court of Appeal of England where it was determined that the expert opinion of body of experts that is known as Bollum test actually. So on the basis of Bollum test, if it is determined that the way treatment is given is not as per the procedure, and then of course the license to practice can be cancelled, or that can be cancelled for good also. Next question please. Please.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो जो पंजाब हेल्थ के रेटिंग एक्ट है उसके अंदर मेंशन्ड है कि अगर कोई पार्टी जो है वो इसको सेंटेंस को नहीं कर रही कोर्ट के अंदर तो उसके खिलाफ जो है एक्स पार्टी प्रोसीडिंग की जाती है। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर तो ये एक्स पार्टी प्रोसीडिंग है तो आया ये सिविल में आएगा या क्रिमिनल में आएगा, क्योंकि एक्स पार्टी जो है स्पेसिफाइडली जो है सिविल प्रोसीडिंग्स के लिए यूज किया जाता है।
Right. Thank you very much. By the way, EXPARTE, this term, the legal term, is pronounced as ex parte. Now, I am the author of a guidebook titled as Legal Parlance, and the foreword is written on that guidebook is by His Lordship Mr. Justice, the Senior Puisne Judge of Lahore High Court, Mr. Justice Shujat Ali Khan. In that legal parlance, if you go to my YouTube channel, it is with Naushab Ali Khan, you will find an access to my series of lectures on the very fact how to pronounce legal terminology. So, few legal terminology like ex parte, sub judice, prima facie, etc. are the legal terms basically based on received pronunciation. So I'd like you to go through some of those lectures on the YouTube channel and you will find how to pronounce them. Now, coming back to the very question that Ms. Nahreen, can you please ask Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Sahab to join us so that we can conclude it if he's around?
लीगल एजुकेशन की मीटिंग में वो कह रहे थे 5-7 मिनट में आए थे।
अच्छा, बस उन्हें कहें कि फिर हम आपके आने पे क्या कंक्लूड करें?
उनके आने पे कर लेंगे सब आप जो
बस उन्हें कहेंगे अगला चूंकि लेक्चर है ना, तो अगर तो वो लेट होते हैं तो फिर हम कंक्लूड कर लेते हैं, फिर उनसे गाइडेंस लेते हैं जैसे वो
आपने इसके रिजल्ट में ये दिलवानी है और एम्बेलम और फोटो है ना वो आप एंड पर रख लें, कंक्लूड आप बेशक 5 मिनट में कर लें। वो मंथली वेट पर रख लेते हैं, उनको बुला लेते हैं।
हाँ, बुला लें। Right, ex parte actually. As far as let's say that the respondent or one of the party does not appear, if plaintiff or the petitioner is absent, then of course the petition can be dismissed on the basis of DNP, dismissed due to non-prosecution. But as far as the respondent is concerned, if even through the newspaper proclamation, the process is complete, chaspandgi, notices, registered post, the whole process is done. But even after the newspaper proclamation, if the respondent is unable to appear, then of course when I'm using the word district judge, he is exercising his civil powers. It is not the session judge actually. If you read the Healthcare Commission Act, it provides the word district judge. So ex parte proceedings can be initiated against the respondent if respondent fails to appear, irrespective of the fact that there is a newspaper proclamation and he is unable to enter his appearance. Next question. Yes, madam, please. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I am privy to this situation in 2021 during the COVID era. Professor Dr. Javed Akram Sahab was the Vice Chancellor of University of Health Sciences, Lahore. And at UHS, they have arranged vaccination and Chinese, actually, they imparted services. But they've been working under the supervision of our healthcare service providers. They were not working independently. And basically that though they can be held vicariously liable, but since they were working under the supervision of our licensed doctors, they were not independently working. And actually this is also relevant to the house jobians. Those house jobians, as you know, that after the completion of BDS or MBBS, a doctor gets a provisional license. But in order to get that provisional license, you need to work under the supervision of your registrar or postgraduate trainees who are working in the wards actually. So basically that liability is restricted. But as far as if there is a foreign delegation, they are imparting some kind of surgeries, for example, when at Sheikh Zayed Medical Complex, under the chairmanship of Professor Dr. Tariq Bangas Sahab, when we have started liver transplant surgeries way back, it's been 10 years now. At that time we have delegates from other countries also, but they were not conducting any surgeries independently. So those who were associated with them, they were duly licensed by Pakistan Medical Intensive Council. Please.
सर इस तरह कुछ महामेडिकल से डॉक्टर साहब बात कर गया उन्होंने अपने लीडर रजिस्टर तो आपके उससे हम तारीफ होना चाहिए कि अगर हमें थोड़ा सा उसके ऊपर गाइड कर दें तो मैं कामों का किस तरह
राइट, थैंक यू वेरी मच. बुनियादी बात ये है कि हेल्थ केयर सर्विस प्रोवाइडर जो है उसे सबसे पहले तो लाइसेंस लेना है अपनी काउंसिल से. अगर वो होम्योपैथिक डॉक्टर है तो होम्योपैथिक काउंसिल से, अगर वो MBBS डॉक्टर है तो पाकिस्तान मेडिकल एंड डेंटल काउंसिल से. और लाइसेंस लेने के बाद आप अपनी हेल्थ केयर इस्टेब्लिशमेंट की लाइसेंसिंग और रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए एप्लीकेशन देंगे. ऑनलाइन भी आप दे सकते हैं अगर आप हेल्थ केयर कमीशन की वेबसाइट पे जाएं, या आप पेपर एप्लीकेशन भी दे सकते हैं. और वो क्या करेंगे कि आपकी जो हेल्थ केयर इस्टेब्लिशमेंट है, आपका जो क्लिनिक है, उसको इंस्पेक्ट करेंगे और ये जो मिनिमम डिलीवरी सर्विस डिलीवरी स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं इसकी चेकलिस्ट आपको देंगे. इंश्योर करेंगे कि आपका जो क्लिनिक है, आपका जो हेल्थ केयर इस्टेब्लिशमेंट है, वो रिक्वायरमेंट्स को मीट करता है. आपको 6 मंथ्स का पीरियड दे देंगे और आपको प्रोविजनल लाइसेंस दे देंगे. और अच्छी बात यह है, लॉयरिंग के हवाले से, अगर मैं प्रैक्टिस के हवाले से बात करूं तो अच्छी बात यह है कि आपको ये जो लाइसेंस दिया जाता है ये एट द वेरी आउटसेट दे दिया जाता है जैसे आप अप्लाई करते हैं, क्योंकि वो वैक्यूम नहीं छोड़ा जाता कि आज आप प्रैक्टिस तो शुरू कर दी, आपने क्लिनिक तो बना लिया, एप्लीकेशन भी दे दी, लेकिन अब उस इंटरम पीरियड में तो आप विदाउट अम्ब्रेला है ना जी. और अगर गॉड फॉरबिड उस अरसे में कुछ हो जाता है तो आपके खिलाफ क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग्स भी इनिशिएट हो सकती हैं. आप पे तो फिर अमल दरामद ही नहीं होगा हेल्थ केयर कमीशन एक्ट का. कहा जाएगा कि आपको तो इम्यूनिटी हासिल नहीं है, क्योंकि इम्यूनिटी आप तब क्लेम करेंगे जब आप रजिस्टर्ड होंगे, जब आपके पास लाइसेंस होगा. तो आप वो लाइसेंस अप्लाई करें तो एट द वेरी आउटसेट आपको प्रोविजनल लाइसेंस मिल जाता है जो इक्वली वैलिड है. और ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, जितना ग्रेस पीरियड के बाद आप 6 मंथ्स में 1 ईयर में उनकी जो फॉर्मेलिटीज हैं वो पूरी कर देते हैं MSDS की, तो उसकी बेसिस पे आपको रेगुलर लाइसेंस मिल जाता है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जी.
एप्लीकेंट साइड से अगर जो रिस्पोंडेंट साइड है या मैं कह दो सामने कर दूँ वो जो है हेल्थ केयर एस्टैब्लिशमेंट है उसकी साइड से अगर कोई डॉक्यूमेंट टैंपरिंग का कोई सेगमेंट आ जाता है तो उसको किस तरह से है वो क्लैरिफाई करेंगे, उसके लिए क्या रेफरेंस.
वेरी राइट. आप इस सवाल का जवाब देने से पहले आप YouTube ऑन कीजिएगा सब. YouTube पे आइए एंड नाउ टाइप NOSHAB नौशाद अली खान। इसमें आपको एक सीरीज ऑफ लेक्चर्स मिलेगा, डॉक्टर्स आर नॉट क्रिमिनली लायबल। डॉक्टर्स आर नॉट क्रिमिनली लायबल। अच्छा, इसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे सवालात जो अभी आपने पूछे हैं या आपके जहनों में हो सकते हैं, इस सीरीज ऑफ लेक्चर्स में आपको उनका रिप्लाई मिल जाएगा। आप इसमें कॉन्टेक्ट नंबर भी मौजूद है, आप मुझसे डायरेक्टली भी कॉन्टेक्ट कर सकते हैं। एंड इट इज़ ऑलवेज अ प्लेजर एंड प्रिविलेज टू गाइड यंग माइंड्स, द राइजिंग स्टार्स ऑफ आवर प्रोफेशन। सो मुझे अभी कहा गया है, चूंकि इसके बाद भी आपका लेक्चर है, तो मुझे सम अप करना है। अभी जैसे आएंगे मोहम्मद अहमद साहब, तो हम फौरी तौर पे रिजल्ट अगर कंपाइल हो गया है तो मुझे दे दीजिए। मिस महरीन, अच्छा जी प्लीज। जी बिल्कुल, अगर फर्ज कीजिए a doctor is running his healthcare establishment and he has employed a doctor in his healthcare establishment, and he found that the doctor has did not perform the duties properly, then of course he, being the head of that healthcare establishment, lodge a complaint against that healthcare service provider. Any other question, please? Please. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, a very, very good question. You see, a good question is half wisdom. So, as far as error of judgment is concerned, as I said earlier, that whether we can determine that this error of judgment has resulted into the death of the patient, for instance, then that can be ascertained by the Board of Commissioners of Healthcare Commission. And once it is ascertained, the law provides that even criminal prosecution can be initiated against the healthcare establishment. It will not be confined to the fine to the healthcare establishment, or it will not confine to a civil liability. It can be a criminal liability, or the doctor can be criminally held, provided that the negligence is gross criminal negligence. So that is, as I said earlier, that Healthcare Commission is duly empowered to make a decision, and they have unfettered powers, provided after hearing both the parties, they can determine that yes, there is a medical negligence or there is a gross criminal negligence which can result into the cancellation of license or sealing of the premises or any criminal prosecution against the doctor. Next question, please. All right, so let me recap quickly. You may have, in fact, so far understood the areas of practice, and since I have gone through almost all the lectures available on the YouTube channel, you have attended during the course of these 13 sessions program. And one thing very important, some of the professionals who came being resource persons, they have highlighted the need of practice in the field of civil law, criminal law, family law, etc. What I suggest you, keeping in view my experience, that do a general practice, civil, criminal, banking, whatever comes to you, but try to develop one of your niche also. Luckily, we have Barrister Muhammad Ahmad Sahab with us, and this is the time to conclude. Barrister Sahab, over to you, sir.
Sir, please.
Basically, they are just compiling the result. Miss Mehreen, can I have the result, please?
चलें सर, आपकी
Not yet. Sir, it is not compiled yet.
चलिए मैं अपनी
Let us compile.
कमेटी को इंट्रोड्यूस करवा
I highly appreciate for your very patient hearing and very valuable questions. Thank you very much.
अमजद इकबाल साहब अगर हैं तो बुलवा लीजिए, वो भी कमेटी के साथ। सबसे पहले तो वंस अगेन मैं तहे दिल से नौशाब भाई का शुक्रगुजार होऊंगा कि उन्होंने इतना ज़बरदस्त और इतने वैल्यूएबल टॉपिक के ऊपर आपको गाइड किया। एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़, ये तमाम का तमाम जो बार वोकेशनल कोर्स आपके सामने ऑर्गेनाइज किया जा रहा है, ये एक काविश है लीगल एजुकेशन कमेटी पंजाब की। वी आर लकी कि हमारे दरमियान आज हमारी बीच में मीटिंग थी और तमाम लीगल एजुकेशन कमेटी पंजाब यहाँ पे आपके सामने मौजूद है, जिसमें मेरे भाई जाम यूनुस साहब, मेरे अमजद इकबाल साहब हमारे साबिक वाइस चेयरमैन है, वो हमें ज्वाइन करेंगे, राजा फरूक आरिफ भट्टी साहब और सरदार हबीब अनवर साहब यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं। सो इट इज़ अ ह्यूज ऑनर फॉर मी कि आप तमाम के तमाम आप हमारे फ्यूचर हैं। पंजाब बार काउंसिल के अंदर हम आपको वेलकम करें लीगल एजुकेशन कमेटी की तरफ से। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा हमारे तमाम मेंबरान से, अगर वो सर ये हमारे नए यंगस्टर्स हैं, उनको अगर आप एड्रेस करना चाहें तो हमारे लिए भी, इनके लिए भी ऑनर होगा अगर आप इधर आ जाए। उतनी देर में आपका रिजल्ट कंपाइल हो जाएगा और पता चलता है कि कौन जीता सर। जाम यूनुस सर।
औज़ुबिल्लाहि मिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। ये हमारी लीगल एजुकेशन की जो कोशिश काविश है, हम इसको सराहते हैं और ये सारा क्रेडिट मलिक साहब को जाता है। इन्होंने पूरे पंजाब में ये सिलसिला शुरू किया और आज अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह पूरे पंजाब में ये काम चल रहा है। और इसमें जो है ना आपको लीगल एथिक्स भी मिलेंगे और बहुत सारे जो मामला आते हैं वकील के, वो भी होते हैं। असल में ना जैसे कहा गया कि अल्लाह ताला ने कुरान शरीफ के हुक्म है कि लैसा लिल इंसान इल्ला मा सा, इंसान जिस चीज़ की कोशिश करता है, सही करता है, अल्लाह ताला उसको अता करते हैं। तो अगर हमारी नेक नीयत के साथ इस शोबे से हम वाबस्ता होना चाहते हैं और आप इससे आगे जाना चाहते हैं, ये देखें है ओपन फील्ड जो लॉ है, ये ओपन फील्ड है, ये टॉप हमेशा वैकेंट होता है, खाली होता है। ये आप लोगों की अपनी कोशिश काविश होती है कि आप किस तरह जो है ना इसको टॉप को जो है ना जाते हैं। और ये देखें आप लोगों में से जो है ना हाई कोर्ट के जजेस होते हैं, बहुत अच्छे वकला होते हैं, सीनियर लोग होते हैं, हमारे जैसे मेंबर पंजाब बार कौंसिल, हम लोग आप लोग स्टेज पर आए हैं, लेकिन हमें उस वक्त ये मौके नहीं मिले थे। जब हम लोग पढ़ते थे उस वक्त हमारे पास ये मौके नहीं थे। हमारे पास जो है ना कोई पढ़ाने वाले लोग नहीं होते थे, ठीक है, बस सिर्फ ऐसे लॉ कॉलेजेस चल रहे थे और कुछ होते भी थे सीनियर लोग, तो इतनी तवज्जो नहीं होती, तो हम खुद भी तवज्जो नहीं करते थे। और उसके बाद हम जब आते थे हमारा सिर्फ जस्ट इंटरव्यू होता था। और हमारी तरफ वैसे मैं साउथ पंजाब से मेरा ताल्लुक है, वहाँ तो ये भी बात नहीं है कि इंटरव्यू हो वहाँ, क्योंकि वो बहुत दूर के लोग हैं, यहाँ वो आ नहीं सकते थे। हम तो उनको वैसे जो है ना इनके हम लोगों को रिलीफ मिल जाया करता था, क्योंकि आप लाहौर के हैं, यहाँ आप इंटरव्यू कमेटी भी होती है, ये लोग आपको यहाँ पे सारा मामला यहाँ पर कंडक्ट करते हैं। तो ये आप लोगों की खुशकिस्मत है, खासतौर पर जो लाहौर के यहाँ पर जो लोग मौजूद हैं और जो इर्द गिर्द के आपके जो इसके पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी या इधर नज़दीक के लोग हैं, तो आप लोग यहाँ पर आ भी सकते हैं। हमारी तरफ ये मौके अभी भी बहुत कम है। बहरहाल मैं इस बात की इंशाल्लाह आपसे तवक्को करता हूँ कि इंशाल्लाह फ्यूचर में आप एक अच्छे वकील बनेंगे। जज बनना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं होती है, असल में अच्छा वकील होना सबसे बड़ी बात है। इंशाल्लाह आप एक अच्छे वकील बनेंगे, अपने माँ बाप का नाम रोशन करेंगे, अपने वालिदैन का नाम रोशन करेंगे, अपने मुल्क का नाम रोशन करेंगे और अपना नाम रोशन करेंगे। और उससे जो है जिनके एक अच्छा वकील जहाँ पर होता है, जहाँ उसकी रिस्पेक्ट होती है, वहाँ उसको फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट भी बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी होती है। शॉर्टकट कभी नहीं लेना आप लोगों ने। मैं आपको ये बात जरूर कहना चाहूँगा कि जो लोग शॉर्टकट के चक्कर में होते हैं, मैं यूं करके ऊपर निकल जाऊँगा, यकीन करें वो किसी को धोखा दे के आगे तो निकल सकते हैं, लेकिन थोड़ी सी देर के लिए फिर बंदा एक्सपोज हो जाता है। जब एक्सपोज हो गया तो बात खत्म। वो इमारत जो है ना जो बनी होती है किसी के जहन में, वो धड़ाम से नीचे आ जाती है। तो इसलिए जो है मैं आप लोगों से गुजारिश करूँगा कि अपने इस प्रोफेशन पे आप जो है ईमानदारी के साथ तवज्जो दें। इंशाल्लाह यानी कि आप लोग बड़े ज़हीन लोग नजर आ रहे हैं, मुझे आपके चेहरों से पता लग रहा है कि सारे अपने अपनी जगह बच्चे जो है बड़े मेहनती किस्म के लोग आप बैठे हैं। इंशाल्लाह फ्यूचर में आप इंशाल्लाह बहुत अच्छे वकील होंगे और इंशाल्लाह अपने माँ बाप को, अपने मुल्क का नाम रोशन करेंगे। अस्सलाम वालेकुम, थैंक यू।
क्विकली तमाम दोस्तों को और मेम्बरान से आपको मिलवाना है। तो इस चीज के लिए जरूरी है कि आपके नुमाइंदे हैं, आपको आपके इलाकों के अंदर कोई इशू है, कोई मामला वगैरह है, तो दे आर देयर फॉर यू। ये हमारी एक जॉइंट काविश है आप तमाम दोस्तों के सामने। मैं क्विकली रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा तमाम अपने मेम्बरान साहिबान से, और दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये भी आपके सामने पॉइंट आउट करना चाहूंगा कि जाम यूनुस साहब, अमजद इकबाल साहब, आप भी बन सकते हैं। आप में से ही जैसे उन्होंने आपके सामने कहा, तो प्लीज आप उनको सुनिए। मुकम्मल तौर पे एक्सेसिबल आपके मेम्बरान है, प्लीज कीजिए। थैंक यू सर।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। मेरे छोटे भाई, आपका भी बड़ा ज़बरदस्त ये मौका आपको मिला। हम जब इस प्रोफेशन में आए तो ये मौका नहीं मिलता था। और मैं एक बात हमेशा कहता हूँ जब दोस्तों का इंटरव्यू करता हूँ, बच्चों का, यहाँ मोस्टली बच्चे मेरे पास आते रहते हैं, आप छोटे भाई, कि इस प्रोफेशन में मेहनत करें, मेहनत करें। मेहनत वाले बंदे के लिए हमेशा जगह खाली होती। मैं अगर अपनी बात करूँ ना, एक मोटिवेशन के लिए, कि मैं अपनी फैमिली में पहला बंदा था जिसने मैट्रिक पास की। मेरी फैमिली जमींदार फैमिली है, तो मैंने मैट्रिक पास करने वाला पहला बंदा था। मेरा मेन रोड से भी, लाहौर से कुछ 100 किलोमीटर दूर होगा मेरा गांव, लेकिन जहां मेन रोड है उससे 10 किलोमीटर पीछे मेरा गांव है। जब मैं पढ़ने निकलता था रोड कोई नहीं था हमारे स्कूल, यानी वहां से, गांव से। तो हमने यहां आके सिर्फ मेहनत की है और ईमानदारी से की है। तो दो ही चीजें हैं, आप अपने क्लाइंट के साथ ईमानदार रहें, इस प्रोफेशन के साथ ईमानदार रहें और मेहनत करें, और आपके लिए टॉप पे जगह हमेशा खाली होगी। बहुत शुक्रिया, यही मेरा मैसेज है।
मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा अपने दोस्त राजा फरूख आरफ भट्टी साहब से, रावलपिंडी से हमारे मेंबर हैं, वो आपको एड्रेस करें प्लीज।
वेलकम टू द न्यू प्रोफेशन। आप लोग फ्यूचर हैं इस प्रोफेशन में। और एक बात सिर्फ आपसे कहकर मैं इजाज़त ले लूँगा, क्योंकि आपने पहले भी पूरा लेक्चर अटेंड करने के बाद बंदा एग्जॉस्ट हुआ होता है, और रमज़ान भी है, कि जिस तरह मेरे दोस्तों भाइयों ने कहा कि इस प्रोफेशन में शॉर्टकट नहीं है। अगर आपने इसको प्रोफेशन को अपने ब्रेड एंड बटर के लिए लेना है तो ये प्रोफेशन आपसे फुल टाइम मांगेगा। आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि जी आप कहें कि जी जब मेरे पास कोई केस आएगा तो मैं कोर्ट्स में जाऊंगा। आपने फ्रॉम वेरी अर्ली डेज, अगर 8 बजे का टाइम है तो बिफोर 8 AM यू मस्ट बी देयर, और टिल कोर्ट टाइम, एंड आफ्टर कोर्ट टाइम यू हैव टू गो टू द इवनिंग ऑफिस। और जितना ब्रीफ आपका अच्छा बना होगा, प्रेजेंटेशन अच्छी होगी, वो ग्रेजुअली आपकी क्लाइंटेज को बिल्डअप करती जाती है। याद रखिएगा कि हम लोग अज्यूम किए बैठे होते हैं कि अर्ली स्टेज पे हमें कोई जानता नहीं है तो हमें कोई देख नहीं रहा। यकीन माने कि जो परमानेंट लिटिगेंट हैं कचहरी के, वो ये भी बता देते होते हैं कि जी आपकी स्टैंडिंग 2 साल होगी है, 1 साल होगी है। उनसे पूछोगे आपको कैसे पता चला, तो वो आपको बताएंगे कि हम आपको पिछले 1 साल से देख रहे हैं कचहरी में, आपको 2 साल से देख रहे हैं। तो रेगुलरिटी का कोई नेमुल बदल नहीं। और इस प्रोफेशन में एक और बात ऐड कर दूं जो मैं अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस से शेयर कर रहा हूं कि मैं खुद अल्लाह से बड़ा शाकी था कि जी 17-18 घंटे पर डे काम करते हैं, और एक नॉर्मल जो लेबर को जो पेमेंट्स मिलती हैं उसके भी इक्विवेलेंट कुछ अर्न नहीं कर रहे होते, और घर से अपने पेरेंट्स से पैसे लेके कचहरी में आना, पूरा दिन वहाँ पे, और फिर अगले दिन जब शुरू होता है तो फिर खर्चा लेके घर से निकलना। तो वो फील होता था कि जी कि शायद अल्लाह की ज़ात हमसे ज़्यादती कर रही है। यकीन माने कि वो जो आपका अर्ली स्टेज ऑफ 2-3 इयर्स हैं, जिस वक्त आपको अर्निंग नहीं मिल रही होती, वो आपको मिनिमम 10 to 20 टाइम ज़्यादा اللہ آپ کو نوازتا ہے اور وہ ود انٹرسٹ آپ کو ملتا ہے. لیکن وہی والی بات ہے کہ اس پروفیشن میں اگر بندہ یہ کہے کہ میرا کالے کوٹ پہ دھول نہیں ہوگی یا اس پہ ڈسٹ وغیرہ نہیں ہوگی، جب تک یہ کالا کوٹ سفید رنگ نہیں اختیار کرتا نا اس وقت تک اس میں سے ارننگ بھی نہیں آتی. تو وش یو گڈ لک. آپ بڑے نوبل پروفیشن میں آئے ہو. ایک بار اور کر دوں، سوری کہ آپ کا زیادہ ٹائم کنزیوم کر رہا ہوں، کہ آپ اس کالے کوٹ میں بہت سی پاور ہے، اور یاد رکھیے گا کہ آپ تھرو آؤٹ اس پروفیشن کے نمائندے ہوتے ہو. آپ کی چھوٹی چھوٹی باتیں آپ کے پروفیشن کو رائز بھی کریں گی اور اس میں اچھا کنٹریبیوشن بھی ہوگی. آپ کا ذرا سا ایکٹ جو کہ لوگ سمجھیں کہ جی آپ مس یوز آف پاور کر رہے ہو، تو یہ نہ صرف آپ اپنے ساتھ زیادتی کر رہے ہوتے ہو، اس پروفیشن کے ساتھ زیادتی کر رہے ہو. اور آپ کے پاس پاور ہے، اور پاور میں سوری جو بیسک چیز ہے کہ وہ اپنی پاور کو ہوتے ہوئے ہر چیز کو کسی کو اگنور کرنا، یہی سب سے بڑائی ہے. اور میں چاہوں گا کہ، اور میری یہ دعا ہے کہ آپ سب لوگ اس پروفیشن کی عزتوں کے باعث بنو. ارننگ تو ہے ہی ہے، لیکن عزتوں کا باعث بننا یہ آپ لوگوں کے لیے بھی اعزاز ہوگا اور ہمارے لیے بھی اعزاز ہوگا. ویلکم ٹو دا پروفیشن اینڈ وش یو گڈ لک.
تو میں ریکویسٹ کروں گا ہمارے دوست ایکچولی اٹک سے ہمارے ممبر بار کاؤنسل ہیں سردار حبیب انور صاحب سے کہ وہ آپ کو بریفلی ایڈریس کریں پلیز.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. معزز حاضرین، میری نظر میں آپ سارے میرے بچے ہیں. میں کوٹ میں 29 مارچ 73 کو آیا تھا. 7 دن کم 52 سال. اس وقت ٹوٹلی 3 کالجز تھے، لاہور یونیورسٹی لا کالج، ایس ایم لا کالج کراچی، اور ایک پشاور لا کالج تھا. آج تو سینکڑوں کی تعداد میں کالج بن گئے. بہرحال آپ محنت کریں، محنت کرنی ہے. سب سے بڑی بات بیٹے یہ ہے کہ کوٹ میں بر وقت جائیں. ہمارے بڑے کہتے تھے کہ یہ آپ کی دکان ہے، دکان بند ہو گئی تو جو اپنا گاہک ہے وہ دوسری دکان پر چلے جائے گا. اور کوٹ کو پورا ٹائم دیں، آخری ٹائم تک وہاں بیٹھیں. پھر محنت کریں، بھرپور محنت کریں. اگر آپ محنت نہیں کریں گے تو آپ کا سکا پائی سکی پہن آپ کے بڑے آپ کے پاس نہیں جائیں گے، دوسرے وکیل کے پاس چلے جائیں گے. وکالت میں کوئی رشتہ نہیں ہوتا، صرف اور صرف محنت ہوتی ہے. اور ایک بات ذہن میں رکھیں کہ ہمارے وکلاء میں اب بہت کچھ ہو رہا ہے کہ میرا کلائنٹ اللہ ہے تو میں بے سے باتیں کرتا ہوں. بہت ہی بری بات ہے اور یہ توہین آمیز بات ہے. کبھی بھی ایسا نہ کریں، اس میں بڑی عزت ہے. آپ اپنے کلائنٹ کا خیال رکھیں گے، اس کا کام کریں گے. وہ آپ کو دیتا ہے، چند پیسے دیتا ہے، وکالت نامے جو کچھ ہے وہ آپ کو پتہ ہے، سب کچھ آپ کو دے کر چلا جاتا ہے. تو اگر آپ اس کی عزت نہیں رکھیں گے تو آپ عقل جان کیا جواب دیں گے؟ وہ بھرپور آپ پر اعتماد کرتا ہے. آپ اس کا کیس ختم کریں، ڈگری کرائیں، خارج کرائیں، جو بھی کریں تو آپ کو فیسیں بھی دیتا ہے. خدا نہ خواستہ کوئی بچہ بچی کوئی وکیل آگے کسی دوسرے کلائنٹ سے پھر ایسی بات کرتا ہے تو بہت بری بات ہے. اس لیے میرے بچوں محنت کرو، محنت، اور یہ آخر تک محنت ہے. آپ نے جب تک پروفیشن میں رہنا ہے تو تب تک آپ نے اس میں محنت ہی کرنی ہے. محنت کے بغیر اس میں کچھ نہیں ہے. اللہ آپ کو کامیاب کرے. آمین.
سردار صاحب نے بالکل درست چیز کہی. یہاں پہ تو آپ کو جواب مل ہی جاتا ہے، مگر اگلے جہان کے اندر بھی آپ نے جواب دینا ہے. یہ بھی آپ کر رہے ہیں اور یہ بالکل عین عبادت ہے. جو چیز آپ کرنے آ رہے ہیں یہ سیکریفائس کا ہے. پیسے کمانے کے لیے بے شمار اور چیزیں، بندر بھی ڈگڈگی کے اوپر ناچ لیتا ہے. یہ ایک ریسپیکٹیبل پروفیشن ہے اور نوبل لوگوں کا ہے. اور آپ کے سامنے تمام کے تمام دوستوں کے ساتھ پہلے دن سے ہم یہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ یہاں پہ بہت زیادہ گند بھی آ گیا ہے اور بہت زیادہ حرکات، اور ہم نے اپنے اس کے کالے کوٹ کا جو تقدس ہے اور ٹائی کا تقدس ہے وہ ہم نے ہی پامال کیا ہے. लेकिन दुनिया के सबसे अच्छे आदमी इस प्रोफेशन से ताल्लुक रखते हैं, और इस बार काउंसिल के सबसे अच्छे आदमी आपके सामने आज तमाम नौयत के अंदर दोस्तों ने आकर, नौशाद साहब मौजूद थे, हम मौजूद थे, सारे के सारे दोस्तों ने, तमाम मेंबरान ने बात की, हम वी गिव टाइम टू दिस प्रोफेशन, दिल लगा के यहाँ पे काम करते हैं, हमारे कबीले के अंदर वेलकम, ट्राई टू बिकम एन ऑनरेबल मेंबर ऑफ दैट, इस अंदाज के अंदर। नौशाद साहब से मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि नौशाद साहब आएँ और प्लीज़ अगर मेहरबानी करके विनर का अनाउंसमेंट यहाँ पे मेहरबानी करके करें, तो विल डू अ ग्रुप फोटो एंड देन इस बार वोकेशनल कोर्स के आखिरी लेक्चर के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा दूर से सबसे ज़बरदस्त लेक्चर और सबसे ज़्यादा नॉलेजेबल स्पीकर हमारे पास मौजूद हैं, उनसे हम आपको 2 मिनट के अंदर इंट्रोड्यूस करवाएंगे। प्लीज़ अनाउंस सर।
Thank you very much, Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab. This is such a veneration to share this table with the worthy members of Education Committee along with the chairman. And it reminds me, sir, this very fact that my mentor, my senior, when you enter the Punjab Bar Council's building, on the left there is a plaque which reflects that there was a committee for the construction of this building, for the acquisition of this land, and my mentor, my senior, Sheikh Muhammad Usman, who was thrice elected as member Punjab Bar Council, his name is also mentioned there. So I must salute all these members of Punjab Bar Council, that they are the representative of the legal fraternity in the country, and I must salute them while a round of applause that they are with us, and they are our role models. As far as sir, basically what we did today in this lecture of medical law and jurisprudence, we have basically this is my compilation on this subject matter. I am the author of this compilation, and basically the foreword is written by the president of pioneer, in fact, chairman of Association of Family Physicians and Surgeons of Pakistan, and luckily he is Professor Dr. Javed Akram, Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab's uncle, and he has written forward for this guidebook, and we are presenting this guidebook to those who have earned the highest marks in this test, and the best part is that they are 5 in number who have earned the highest marks, 20 out of 20. And I may request Barrister Muhammad Ahmed Qayyum Sahab to announce all these 5 names and then request you to come at the front.
Miss Khadija Ahmed. Miss Fatima Khalid. Ms. Marwa, sorry. शुक्र है एक अदद मर्द भी आया यार। मिस्टर दाइम, लेकिन यार छोड़ो यार, सिर्फ एक मर्द आया आखिरी, एक्चुअली मिस ताबीन सामने आई थी। तो मैं चाहूंगा कमेटी आके सारे ग्रुप फोटो उनके साथ खींच ले, 1 by 1 आ जाएंगे प्लीज। अच्छा अभी देना किसको, ऐसे किसका कोरा निकला?
हम इनफेक्ट ग्रुप फोटो तो सबके साथ आ जाएगा, लेकिन हम ड्रॉ करेंगे क्विकली और उसमें से जिनका निकलेगा उनको ये प्रेजेंट।
तो नीचे आ जाएगी प्लीज, से ज्यादा बेहतर। सारी कमेटी आ जाए प्लीज, आ जाए प्लीज, ऑल ऑफ यू कैन जॉइन अस प्लीज। आइए प्लीज, तो इस तरफ आ जाइए आप, ऊपर से उतारेंगे तस्वीर, पूरी क्लास आएगी, तस्वीर अच्छी आएगी। आए ना प्लीज मैडम जी, आप बीच में सेंटर में आ जाइए, आप सेंटर में आइए ना जी, आप जीते हैं सारे के साथ। सेंटर में
बेटा
आ जाए, सेंटर में आइए, आप स्टार्ट है लगता है कि हाँ। अच्छा माशाल्लाह, चलिए इस तरह काट कर नहीं, अच्छी तस्वीर है। आप वो कीजिए रोटेट करने वाला।
तो बाकी सब बुला लें हम।
ठीक है, करें।
बाकी सब बुला लें ग्रुप फोटो।
हाँ जी, बाकी भी दोस्त आगे आ जाएं तो वी कैन डू अ क्विक ग्रुप फोटो इन रोज में आ जाएं आगे, ताकि सब भरा हुआ सारा नजर आए। एवरीवन कम फॉरवर्ड प्लीज, आगे आ जाए। माशा चलें प्लीज।
हमारे यहाँ तो पास में
नौशाद साहब कोई फेल हुआ है?
बताइए।
हाँ, कोई भी नहीं फेल हुआ। चले फिर बीवीसी सक्सेसफुल हो गई।
Basically it was 10 out of 20.
थैंक यू सर, पूरा करो यार, अगला शुरू करना है हमारे।
मैं छोटे भाइयों को कह रहा था कि हमारे दौर में
थैंक यू बहुत शुक्रिया। अब
ड्रॉ के लिए स्टेप्स देखो मुझे जी सर, इनमें से ड्रॉ हम अदीम साहब को कहते हैं बिकॉज ही इज द ओनली बॉय। आइए जी, दाइम साहब आप आइए। अच्छा जी, ये आपके पांचों के नाम लिखे हैं और अब दाइम साहब इसमें से देखते हैं।
एक पर्ची उठा लो
इसने अपनी उठा ली तो
ये वो पढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहा है कि मेरी वाली कौन सी है, जोर लगा के चल पढ़। किसका पूरा निकला?
मैंने कहा नहीं अपनी उठा ली
एक मर्द ने 4 औरतों को फारिग करा दिया। सामने से आके इधर आ जाएंगे एक मिनट। चले ठीक है, आप प्लीज मैडम साहब आ गए, यू कैन कम, वी डोंट हैव टू मूव प्लीज। शुक्रिया।
मैंने पहले कहा था।
जी बिल्कुल, टाइम ने अपना ही निकाला है। ये देखो,
ये है ना, उठाना चाहिए था। हाँ जी,
माशाल्लाह। नहीं ठीक है, मर्दों के हकूक के लिए भी लड़ना चाहिए सर। थैंक यू जी, बहुत शुक्रिया। थैंक यू सर। सर हमारी कमेटी की भी एक मीटिंग है, प्लीज ऊपर भी मैं आ रहा हूँ, इनको अगला लेक्चर।
अच्छा भाई, तो लेकिन शेख के सब पे दाइम तो नहीं लिखा हुआ।
ये प्रोजेक्टर वाला तो ये चल जाएगा, मैं इस पे अपलोड कर दूंगा।
सबके लिए मैं
नहीं वो देखिए उसी से निकलवाया, ये थोड़ी सी कामली होगी।
सर मैंने वो यूज में कर दिया इनकी।
अच्छा, एक सेकंड में डाल रहा हूँ।
कोई नहीं है कि इन लोगों ने भी मैक्सिमम अचीव की। पहले वो ऐसे सिर्फ हमें और कई
दिस विल रिकॉर्डिंग, आपकी स्लाइड इस पे आ जाएगी, लाइव भी कर लेगा, ये आपका भी ब्रॉडकास्ट भी